Hello, welcome back to True Horror Stories. If you are enjoying my stories, please like and subscribe. Let's get into the story, the Crone Curse. Deep in the heart of Blackthorn Woods, where the trees twisted like gnarled fingers clawing at the sky, the villagers of Eldermoor whispered of her, the Crone. No one knew her true name, for to speak it was to invite her wrath. They said she was older than the forest itself, her life sustained by dark pacts with forces no mortal could comprehend. Her lair, hidden in a fog-choked hollow, was a place of nightmares where the air thrummed with malevolent energy and the ground pulsed with something alive, something wrong. Eldermoor was a quiet village, nestled at the edge of the woods, its people simple and superstitious. They avoided the forest after dusk, for the tales were many, travelers who vanished, children lured by strange lights, and those who returned, changed. Eyes hollow, voices trembling, they spoke of a hunched figure chanting under a blood-red moon, her cauldron spewing green flames that whispered curses. The Crone's Curse, they called it, a fate worse than death, binding your soul to her will. Lila, a young seamstress with a defiant streak, scoffed at the tales. Old wives' nonsense, she'd say, rolling her eyes as the elders warned her to stay clear of the woods. But when her little brother Thom didn't return from gathering firewood one autumn evening, her bravado crumbled. The villagers refused to search, muttering prayers and locking their doors. "He's gone to the Crone," they whispered. Lila, however, wasn't one to cower. Armed with nothing but a lantern and a kitchen knife, she ventured into Blackthorn Woods as the moon rose, casting its crimson glow over the gnarled trees. The forest was alive with dread. The wind carried faint, guttural whispers, and the shadows seemed to writhe just beyond her lantern's light. Thorny vines snagged at her cloak, as if the woods themselves sought to hold her back. Lila's heart pounded, but she pressed on, calling Thom's name. The deeper she went, the colder it grew, until her breath hung in the air like frost. Then she saw it, a faint green glow flickering through the trees, accompanied by a low, rhythmic chant. The hollow was worse than she'd imagined. The ground was black, slick with something that wasn't mud. A cauldron sat at its center, bubbling with a sickly light that cast grotesque shadows on the surrounding trees. And there, hunched over it, was the Crone. Her robes, tattered and adorned with glowing runes, seemed to writhe like living things. Her face was a nightmare, skin like cracked parchment, eyes glowing like twin moons, and a grin that stretched too wide, revealing jagged, blackened teeth. In her claw-like hand, she held a lock of Thom's hair, weaving it into a twisted doll of roots and bone. "Lila," the Crone rasped, her voice like dry leaves scraping stone. "You've come to join us." Lila's blood ran cold. Thom stood behind the Crone, his eyes vacant, his skin unnaturally pale. He didn't speak, didn't move, just stared, as if his soul had been hollowed out. "What have you done to him?" Lila screamed, brandishing her knife. The Crone cackled, a sound that made the trees shudder. "He's mine now, girl, as you will be." She raised a bony finger, and the air grew thick, pressing against Lila's chest. The lantern flickered, its light dimming as the green glow intensified. The whispers grew louder, a chorus of tormented voices clawing at her mind. "Join us. Serve her. Surrender." Lila's vision blurred, her limbs growing heavy. The knife slipped from her fingers, clattering to the ground. But as the Crone's Curse tightened its grip, a memory flashed. Thom's laughter, his small hand in hers. She clung to it, a spark in the suffocating darkness. With a scream of defiance, she lunged for the cauldron, kicking it over. The green liquid spilled, hissing as it burned the earth, and the crone shrieked, her form flickering like a shadow in a storm. The hollow erupted in chaos. The trees groaned, vines lashed out, and the whispers became screams. Lila grabbed Thom, shaking him desperately. "Wake up," she cried. His eyes fluttered, a spark of recognition returning. Together they ran, the forest itself seeming to chase them, branches snapping, roots rising like serpents. The crone's laughter echoed, promising vengeance. They stumbled into Eldermore at dawn, battered and pale but alive. The villagers gasped, crossing themselves, refusing to meet Lila's eyes. Thom never spoke of that night, but his gaze carried a shadow that never faded. Lila burned her cloak, unable to bear its touch, and never set foot near Blackthorn Woods again. Yet at night, when the wind howled, she swore she heard the crones chant, faint but relentless, calling her back. And in the village, whispers grew of new disappearances, of green lights flickering in the woods. The crone's curse, it seemed, was far from broken. So if you ever find yourself near Eldermore, heed the villagers' warnings. Stay clear of Blackthorn Woods when the moon bleeds red. Because the crone is waiting, her cauldron bubbling, her curse ready to claim another soul. Will you be next?